Since the pandemic hit and the United States began to pursue loose monetary policy, there's been a lot of talk about inflation. The whole idea is that by increasing the money supply, all that money is chasing the same set of goods, and that means that the prices have to rise. But one little trick of many producers across America and the globe is something called shrinkflation. What they do is they keep prices stable, but they actually put less items in the bag, the box, or inside of their product. Now, normally shrinkflation, it's something that people try to label as a conspiracy theory. They try to say that doesn't happen. But this morning, we had the PepsiCo CFO on national television admitting, yes, sometimes they do take less chips and put it in a bag and sell it to you for the same price. Now, this isn't shocking, but it's important to understand exactly what they're saying here. Here is Mr. Johnston talking about shrinkflation and admitting that PepsiCo does it.
You know, and I've been kidding all morning long about how, because you always tell us this, contents may have settled during packaging. Are you giving me, and I'm not complaining, you give me fewer Doritos, it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for everybody. I understand, I don't need as many as come in a big bag. What's the average, either tell me how much you've raised prices on these things to keep up with inflation, or how much you've cut down on what's the average packaging in terms of whether it's less than it was a year ago?
There are times when we'll take chips out of the bag instead of taking pricing up. There's no denying that. There's no doubt about it. There's other times when we'll actually increase the number of chips in the bag, and we may take pricing up a little bit along with that. So what we try to do is say, how are consumers actually using that package? And we actually study this stuff and try to figure out, okay, based on that, what's the right size of the bag? We move them around all the time. That's something that happens frequently. For the most part, consumers seem to be very happy with it. We still see volumes going up. We still can see the number of occasions going up. So people want to buy our product more and more.
Now, of course, I'm not surprised that they're engaging in shrinkflation. Everyone can see that there's less items in the bag. But what I do think is interesting is that they also talk about, sometimes they put more chips in the bag, but at the end of the day, they believe that the consumer is happy. I would love to see the metrics on how they measure what is the consumer happiness with how many chips are in a bag. Everyone I've ever talked to, they always talk about there's too much air and not enough chips. I've never had someone say, man, I love these chips because they fill the bag all the way to the top. Now, shrinkflation is just another product of what happens when you have too much money sloshing around in an economy, but not enough supply increasing to keep up. At the end of the day, whether it's inflation or shrinkflation, the average consumer is taking a beating. We have to get this problem under control. Some of it is directly attributed to the monetary policy, some of it is supply chain disruptions, and some of it is just the psychology in the market as people prepare for worse economic times. Shrinkflation and inflation, they go hand in hand. And now we have the CFO, one of the largest companies in the world, admitting, yes, they do it, but don't worry, the consumer loves it.